இளமையில் நாம் செய்ய நினைப்பதை முதுமையில் செய்ய இயலுமே என்று வாருங்கள் வாருங்கள் நண்பர்களே, கூடுங்கள் கேளுங்கள் நண்பர்களே. கோவைவானே ஒன்றாய் கூடி சிந்திப்போம், கேட்போம், மகிழ்வோம். சிந்திப்போம், கேட்போம், மகிழ்வோம்.
This podcast is brought to you as a joint initiative between Anubhav, the National Institute of Social Defense, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and Media for Community Foundation. Project coordinators Dr. R. Sridhar and Alok Verma. Radio coordinators Pooja Murada, Kaushalya and Sai Sudha. Producers covaicare Retirement Communities. If you are a senior citizen and need help, contact our Elder Helpline 14567 between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. We promise to help you lead a better life. I repeat, 14567 between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
வணக்கம்.
Life after 60, New Beginnings. The podcast that follows is from Anjali, who found a new and better way to live in your senior years. Anjali was a teacher and found her passion in arts, craft, music, and languages. She speaks fluent German and has been exposed to diverse cultures in India and abroad. Here is Anjali's take on why retirement communities are an ideal way to live your senior life.
Hello, my name is Anjali. I'm 65 and I have recently moved into a retirement home in Maharashtra. This was my own decision because neither my children nor siblings live in India. I was inspired by many others who made this move, plus my own experiences with elders around, which made me realize that it is very difficult for an elderly person to live in a city or to live on their own in today's day and age. The first question many asked me was, why? And the next question was, why so soon? The stigma attached to these retirement communities continues to amaze me, and this applies both to young and old. And I would like to talk about this today. Our social structure and attitudes and lifestyle have undergone a sea change in the past few decades. And two categories of people have taken a hit in the process: children and senior citizens. As a child, I remember spending vacations in a small town at my grandparents' home. It was a huge house with a tiled roof and a garden around it. At any given time, there were at least 15 people in the house: children, family members, old, loyal household staff. Guests and visitors were very frequent. Friends or relatives were always welcome to visit at any time. I will never forget the festivals I celebrated there in that big house with so many people around. One could never feel isolated or lonely in such a household. For the elderly, someone was always around to attend to their needs or just to talk to them, to spend time with them. They were given food or their medication. Everything was given on time. Since then, we have moved to smaller flats in cities or towns and to nuclear families. Most women are employed. Domestic help is unreliable. As a result, spontaneous visits by family or acquaintances are not exactly welcome, and family ties are not as important as they used to be. Elders were earlier very important in our families. They were highly respected for their experience and wisdom, and therefore they had a very important role in family life. That is no longer the case today due to an erosion of values. Many elderly people find themselves isolated, ignored, sidetracked, and unimportant in today's family setup. And if they are financially dependent, well, things are even worse. And even if someone seriously would like to take care of elders or senior citizens in the family, the city life or city environment is not conducive to this. And it is, I understand, often very difficult for the younger people. And sadly, I've seen this happen too often. And therefore, I personally feel that both in professional and personal life, it is maybe better to step aside before people actually made you feel redundant. After all, our culture has even advocated sannyas. Does one really need more reasons to look for different solutions or an alternate solution in old age rather than continue living in today's family setup, which is often not ideal? Unfortunately, there is a stigma attached to this form of living away from your family or some form of senior living or a retirement home, partially because of the terminology that is commonly used for it, and that is old age homes or vruddhashram, as people tend to call every residence for elders. When I first moved here, many residents told me how their children were shocked and they were unhappy and they were initially completely against the idea of their parents moving here. Some of them even rushed down from the US or wherever they were to see what sort of place it was. Well, it is fine if elderly parents struggle on their own in their hometown, but it is not fine for them to live in such communities where someone is always at hand to help them and where they would be happier. Once joint families broke up and women began to pursue careers, we entrusted our children to the care of grandparents, creches, nannies, maids, turn by turn. Likewise, in the absence of manpower to look after the elderly, what is wrong if they are entrusted to someone who can look after them properly? Does one have to keep them at home in the name of tradition and to assuage one's guilt, though it really helps them little and they are often not happy? In fact, I feel such alternative solutions make things easier for everyone. The children can focus on the demands of hectic city life, they can concentrate on their careers, and they can be at peace because they can rest assured that someone would always be there in case their parents need it. And what's the harm? Because modern technology enables us to bridge all sorts of distances and we can keep in touch even on a daily basis. There's WhatsApp calls and video calls and Viber and whatnot. You can remain in contact continuously. Now going back to the question, why so soon? I would like to ask people whether God has sent them with a 75-year warranty of good health. By God's grace, I'm still fine, but I do not want to wait to fall ill to move to such a place. It is important to move to such a place early enough, I feel, because you have to make friends, you have to settle down, you have to set up a new home and feel at home and get used to life there. It is a major move in life and it is not without its challenges. Please make sure you read all documentation and terms and conditions carefully before taking such a life-changing decision. And I want to add that it is also physically quite taxing to set up a new home at this stage, especially if you don't have help. In the first few months that I have spent here, I've met several new people from all parts of the country, from all walks of life, and it has been a very enriching experience. The sense of community is very strong here, and everyone is ready to help you. It is truly a model of unity in diversity, which India is. People here do not tolerate any talk or comment against any community. All festivals, whether Holi or Eid or Christmas, are celebrated together. Perhaps my talk would be more appropriate for people who reject such retirement homes or retirement communities. But maybe you can pass on my views to justify this form of living. I, for one, would fully endorse this. And to close, I would like to add emphatically that no, it is not an old age home. We have not been dumped here by anyone. We are not charity cases. We have paid good money to have our own little space and to live comfortably, and we live our life to the fullest. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjali, for your brilliant, well-spoken and well-argued talk on deciding to live in a retirement community. Thanking you once again and signing off on behalf of Koivani is Revati Bhaskar.
இந்த வலையொலி அனுபவ் தேசிய சமூக பாதுகாப்பு நிறுவனம், சமூக நீதி மற்றும் அதிகாரமளித்தல் அமைச்சகம் மற்றும் மீடியா ஃபார் கம்யூனிட்டி ஃபவுண்டேஷன் இவர்களின் கூட்டு முயற்சியாக உங்களிடம் கொண்டு வரப்பட்டது. திட்ட ஒருங்கிணைப்பாளர்கள் டாக்டர் ஆர் ஸ்ரீதர் மற்றும் ஆலோக் வர்மா அவர்கள். வானொலி ஒருங்கிணைப்பாளர்கள் பூஜா முராடா, கௌசல்யா மற்றும் சாய் சுதா அவர்கள். தயாரிப்பாளர்கள் கோவை வாணி, கோவைக்கேர் ரிட்டையர்மெண்ட் கம்யூனிட்டிஸ். நீங்கள் ஒரு மூத்த குடிமகனாக இருந்து உதவி தேவைப்பட்டால் எங்கள் எல்டர் லைன் ஹெல்ப் லைனை தொலைபேசி எண் 145667 இல் தொடர்பு கொள்ளவும். காலை 8 மணி முதல் இரவு 8 மணி வரை ஒரு சிறந்த வாழ்க்கையை வாழ உங்களுக்கு உதவி செய்ய நாங்கள் உறுதி அளிக்கிறோம். மறுபடியும் கேளுங்கள். தொலைபேசி எண் 145667 காலை 8 மணி முதல் இரவு 8 மணி வரை.
That's all for today, folks. Be safe. Fight COVID with 2 vaccinations. Wear a mask when you go out. Keep safe distance. Observe proper hygiene. We must win. We will win. Thank you.